Today on the Hobby Bench, I'll be talking about the Terrain Crate convenience store from Mantic Games. So for my zombie wargaming, I really wanted to try to find some more terrain that would be like points of interest, things that would have some resources, stuff that my survivors would go in and sort of dig through and try to find some resources and things that they would probably need and scavenge from. And I saw this convenience store from Terrain Crate. It's pretty cool. It's from Mantic Games. I think it's for their own zombie game that they'll probably be having coming out pretty soon. But it's a really cool kit. It's pretty flexible. It's pretty neat, the stuff that they have inside. And so I wanted to say, obviously for 28mm wargaming, it's a good kit to work with. But I also wanted to know maybe if it would work with Marvel Crisis Protocol using that stuff. So I built the kit here. I'm going to say offhand, it's pretty easy to assemble, but it's a little finicky. You've got these individual wall sections, and there are clips that go in to hold them together. So you can see at the base here, it's pretty flexible here. It doesn't really have anything lined up. These are sort of some gaps. And then on top of that, you'll have these smaller sections here that are joined together with these braces. And they've got these little, this is one of the plastic braces that you put on top. And so these are sort of held to sort of hold the kit together. And of course, you can just use just regular plastic cement. That works great for this kit, provides a really good bond and real tight. It comes with a couple window faces here, and that's what I have. It also comes with some double doors. I opted to have like 2 double doors in the corner here, so that would be for an entrance. It also comes with like a really standard door. I still haven't quite painted this all up yet. Now, what I did differently with this one, and I work with here, is it comes with a roof sections. And that's what I've got here. They're just these plain roof sections with these fans. Or they're just going to be open roof sections. And so it's supposed to line up here that you use 2 wall sections by 3 wall sections. And then you would have these all filled in at the top. And I think it gives a very solid structure. So what I ended up doing was getting a thin piece of acrylic. I just spray painted that gray. And then I would place that and have that on top of the roof here. And of course, as typical for me, I measured twice and still cut it wrong. So it's a little short for me on that. But so I ended up using some foam core that I cut out and placed up as bracers. So I put a couple little small tabs in the corner, and I've got these bracers out here. I didn't put any in the back, but honestly, it fits in really well, really solid. I can really put some pressure on that and put a little bit of weight, and it holds up my figures very well. And so I'm very, very happy the way that turned out. That I can have a roof in here and work with that. And then if I need to take it off, I can work inside. For the bottom, I ended up just using some foam board. So that's what I have lined out for this. And I'm pretty impressed with the kit. It assembled pretty well. I said I'm still working on painting on that. The pickle you have a little bit here is that you do have some of these open sections here. And they've got you have these small little plastic bits. That's what will go into these to sort of bind them together. And I've got a couple here. Now, what I liked about what I did here was leaving this open like that is that I had enough pieces left over to sort of scrape together another building. So these are just the roof sections here. And I had a couple of extra brick sections. So I put up a little window back here. And I've got the door section here. That's the same one that you've got here. And I ended up getting some plastic card, and I put those out to make it look like a window, maybe a couple windows here. And I've got another steel door. I've even put a little raised bit there. Once I get that painted up, I think that'll cover over pretty well. And here I ended up using some putty to fill in these gaps somewhat to just make them stand out a little bit less with this here. Put some foam board down the bottom, and I had a couple sections that are left over as a roof. And so I've got basically, 2 buildings out of this one kit here that, look pretty good. And this is more like a little kiosk or a little tiny little shop, but I think for the value, that's just great. So I'm impressed with the kit because you have a lot of small little extras that I think make the kit stand out and give a lot of flexibility. You have these chain link fences. You've got also these small little picket fences, which are they're a little wobbly, but I guess they're sort of keyed in to work with other stuff to give like maybe some more barricades and stuff. You have a lot of these barricades. I've got quite a few myself, but they're pretty nice. These are really solid plastic, pretty thick. It's a little hard to work with, trimming through really, really hard plastic, but they're solid. These are not flimsy at all. Sort of cool. You've got little stop signs and a little address sign here, mailboxes, little waste cans. These are nice little things here, and these are keyed in to have up against the convenience store if you want, bench. And what I particularly like about these is pretty neat that they have these areas here. You can link them into some small bits that can give it a little bit more decor if you wanted. So like these are little planter hangers. And this gives you an idea too of the clips that they work with. So that's sort of an alternate to what they have, these brick joiners here. You can use stuff like this, a couple of these out in front if you want that design. They even have these little things here that are got little signs. So if you want to have more of a kiosk sign, like, enter here, you can have entrance or exit, that kind of sort of thing, or, whatever as an advertising sign. It's pretty cool because you have these little things too. They have little bits that add a little more life to it, like these little junction box. And that's what I ended up putting back here too, just to fill in this wall. Just a little bit more detail to give it some life. But I don't know. It was pretty cool. So the next question might be, how's the scale? What does it look like? And, for 28 millimeters, these work great. I think an excellent size for the models. They give a really nice scale. You get to for this back door. 28 millimeter works perfect. And I think just ideal for working with these. It's little cabinets in the interior. You probably might want to have some interior wall sections or something like that to maybe fill out the store some, but 28 millimeters is fantastic. Now for Marvel Crisis Protocol, I think it can work too. It's a little larger, okay? And I think especially with the doors, you can see how they stand over a little bit, but it's not too bad. I think with the front windows, you can see there that it fits pretty well. You've got here also on the doors. They're a little tall, but it looks okay. I honestly think for the 32 millimeter Marvel Crisis Protocol figures that you have here, this also can work pretty well. And it's a decent buy, I think about $35 or so. And given that you can, if you're a little clever about it and working with it, you can really get some mileage out of the kit. And there's just so many extra little bits here. For modern wargaming, I think I really like the barricades. You've got these little signs and stuff like that. I think it's really pretty good. So it's a short video today, but I wanted to say is just to point out this Mantic Games kit. They're from Terrain Crate, their series, and this is particularly the convenience store. I like the kit. I think they assemble really well. You be a little clever about it, and I think you can get more mileage out of the kit itself. It's a solid piece by the way it's designed if you use it the way you want to. The one thing I for sure would probably put it in a floor section. So I just got a piece of foam board here. I think that adds a little bit more stability to it and makes it a little more playable. But you don't need that. It paints up pretty well. I just have a couple coats I put down with my airbrush right now. And I need to go back and touch that up. So I think overall, it really has some nice detail. You can really see the brickwork that stands out pretty well. I like these little double doors. They have these little sensors. The windows. I really do think that it's a good looking kit. You can little see the door handles and stuff like that. It has a fair amount of detail. I really do enjoy the way that it gets put together. I think for the price, I think it's a really good entry level terrain kit. I think you can get quite a bit of mileage out of it working with it. So I think it's a good buy, especially for zombie wargaming or for modern wargaming. It's a wonderful kit to buy. And I think even stuff can work for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So, like I said, I got to keep working on this, get it painted up. Can't wait to get it on the tabletop.